Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Today I F'd Up. Our first post is by the Boggart. Today I F'd up by flowering while showering into my 20s. This happened many years ago when I was but a young man in college. But the story actually starts about 18 years before that when I was a baby. Like most kids, I hated getting soap in my eyes in the bath. Even the gentle baby shampoo would send me into a rage. My dad, being the intrepid problem-solving sort with a penchant for over-engineering, came up with a sort of 360-degree visor that my hair would stick through. Then they could wash my hair and the soapy water would just roll off. It was great. It kind of looked like a flower on my head, so my parents would say I was flowering while showering. Eventually, the OG visor got mildew and was disposed of, but my dad made a few over the years. He ultimately stopped when he decided that I should be able to wash my hair without getting soap in my eyes. But I wasn't having it and started making my own. Over time, flower hats for this exact purpose became mass-produced, and I switched over to just buying them as needed. Never got soap in my eyes, it was great. Well, by the time I was 20 and living in my own apartment in college, I still hadn't kicked the old flower hat. I was flowering while showering every day, living my best life. Cue a cute girl staying at my place and suggesting we take a shower together before sleeping together. She asked me to wash her hair and brush conditioner through it, which apparently felt really good to her, and was a major turn-on. When I was done, she offered to wash my hair. I didn't think that would do anything for me, but I said sure. I then reached out of the shower for the drawer where I kept my flower hat and put it on. At first, she laughed and thought I was joking, even after I explained what it was. But then I think she noticed how it looked kind of old and used and faded, and that it would be strangely elaborate to keep a flower hat in my bathroom for the occasional joke. To her credit, she washed my hair while I wore it. We didn't end up sleeping together that night. I can't remember her explanation, but after she left the next morning, she didn't return my calls or AIM messages. I didn't stop flowering while showering immediately after that. I would just say, "Oh, I washed my hair already," if the situation came up again. But when I met my now wife, I knew it was time to give it up, so I no longer flower while I shower. I just live with the occasional pain of getting soap in my eyes. But you better believe that when we had kids, I immediately got them flower hats. My wife thinks they're brilliant. She has no idea of my dark past. And every once in a while I look at my kids' flower hats and I hear them calling to me, beckoning me to don them. I haven't succumbed yet, but I think it's only a matter of time. Our next post is by Just a Simple Beach. Today I F'd up by letting a hookup see my hoarder's den of an apartment. So my ex and I broke up about 5 months ago. Unfortunately, we both live in a one-bedroom with both our names on it, and he still wants to get back with me, and I can't afford to move out. Anyway, fast forward to today, where I'm on a dating app to get over a guy that I first was briefly seeing after my ex. I speak to a cute gentleman who supposedly says he's 28M, but I suspect he's much younger, probably younger than I, 24F. He wants to come over and hook up. I immediately said no because I knew what my apartment looked like. It looks disgusting. A hoarder's den of trash and shit everywhere. Dirty clothes on the ground, carpets and rugs not vacuumed in months. I can't keep up with cleaning, as I've been working non-stop to save up and get out. I knew it was disgusting, so I said no. Hookup goes on and on about how it's not that bad and to just let him come by for a quick romp. "Come on, you're so sexy, blah blah blah." Long story short, I said sure. Just let me clean and shower so I can at least have some form of dignity. He said he would take 45 minutes to get to me. Guys, I was barely finished with the kitchen in that time, and even then it still looks disgusting. This place needs a week straight of deep cleaning. And this poor guy walks in expecting apparently something entirely different. Poor bastard. Anyway, brave soul he is, comes in anyway, willing to bust a nut. I take a quick shower because I'm disgusting, depression from living in this dump and working constantly. So he walks in and goes, "It's not that bad." After busting a nut, he said, "I made a huge and terrible mistake." He gets sweaty and nervous, he starts acting weird, he's embarrassed, I'm embarrassed. He tells me he was wrong, and this place is much worse than he realized, and leaves. As I find my phone, I go to text him an apology. I find he unmatched me and blocked me. I am so embarrassed and even more depressed than I was before. LMAO. Update. I see a lot of comments asking the same thing and I did answer, but I'll clarify one thing. X makes mess when I was with him. I cleaned mess as best I could while being full-time provider. X and I broke up. X is still part-time and still makes mess. I am still full-time, but I stopped taking care of X. My apartment has become Hoarder's den. I still admit fault for being unable to keep with it now that it's starting to affect my mental health. Our next post is by Competition Extreme. Today I effed up by getting left behind on a school trip and changing policy. Many years ago, I went to a new, under-construction middle school. I was in the first cohort. Halfway through school year, we went to a field trip on the school bus. At the end of the day, everyone went back on the school bus, except my friend and I failed to get on the meetup place at 2 p.m., and they forgot about us. We approached the front management, and I explained our predicament. The front desk tried contacting the school's receptionists to no avail, since the reception closed at 3:45, so we were stuck 30 miles away from home. I got the idea of calling a taxi and then letting my parents deal with the fare at the front door. So that's what we did, and my friend hopped on along. We reached at my parents' house where I explained to them what happened and they had to pay a reasonable fare. My friend walked home from my house. Long story short, my parents complained and the school changed its policy and started to do a head count before and after a field trip. 15 years later, my younger sister goes to that school and they still do a head count before and after each field trip. Our next post is by Supercat Puke. Today I effed up by absolutely wrecking a great first date. This happened last night. It's the morning after, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how such a good first date could end so badly in the strangest twist of events. So I'm a 39-year-old man. I'm about 6 months out of my last relationship. Breakup sucked. Took a lot of time to process, but I'm finally starting to feel better and comfortable dating. I'd been on a number of first dates over the summer and the fall, just to keep myself out there. I work from home in a suburb, and my opportunities to meet women organically are pretty rare. So naturally I'm using the dating apps. I've found that getting back to dating after about 2 years of being out of it, things are different and even crappier. I really hadn't hit it off with anyone I'd gone out with this summer. Even when I thought I had found a fun connection recently on another date, it went nowhere. Cue last night's date. She came out to meet me in my town, kind of a long Uber ride for her. We went out to dinner where I'd reserved a table, but we got there early and sat at the bar. She's gorgeous, funny, talkative, and we really just hit it off. We're having such a great time there that we ended up staying at the bar and sitting next to each other. Sitting side by side, having a great conversation, and lots of touching. Ended up there a few hours. One thing led to another, and we were kissing at the bar. We decided to grab the check and head back to my place to kick it and smoke a little weed. For background, I've been smoking quite a bit this year, starting in summer, but I'm still pretty sensitive to THC. It can really quiet me down, and if I get really high, I definitely get some temporary anxiety while high, and it goes away. It's something that kind of happens on the way up. So we're hanging in the living room on my couch. I pack a big bowl for us, pass it to her so she can smoke it first. She hits it hard and hands it back to me, and I inattentively take a pretty massive hit without thinking about it. I'm instantly way higher than I'd planned or was really able to deal with in that situation with someone new, where there was already a lot of sexual tension in the room. So we're chatting, and she says something about how she was in a 12-year relationship. She took some time for herself, and she's just getting back into dating and just wanted me to know. Instead of having any remark like about how that's a long time or asking her how long she's been single or if she was married, anything at all. Instead, I was confused about how we got onto the topic. So my response was basically, yeah, and she replied, yeah, and then things just got awkward as heck. I was so high that I was basically non-verbal, and she'd just opened up about something pretty personal. Complete disconnect. I think we ended up laughing about it after I said sorry, I was just super duper baked. We moved on, but it definitely was a little weird. We hang for another few minutes and then she says she had a great time and she's sorry, but she needs to get back home because she has a family brunch in the morning. Totally chill and makes sense. She lives like an hour away, it's past midnight, and she needs to be up early to spend time with family. I was still just high as heck and acting a little awkward. I was frustrated at myself for it. So she's grabbing her coat and putting her shoes on as her Uber is getting closer. Important to note that she was wearing heels that were super high. I'm hanging out on the couch talking with her and she's standing a few feet away. Next thing I know, she loses her footing and falls straight towards me. I'm sitting on the couch with a knee up. She falls face first and whacks her cheekbone right on my kneecap. Instantly she grabs her cheek and I'm like, dude, are you okay? I grab her an ice pack and apologize profusely. Her face is basically red and starting to swell, and her Uber is coming. We tried to laugh it off, but holy crap, was that shocking. The mood was completely wrecked, and all of the tension between us transformed into the weirdest energy. Keep in mind, I'm still high as a kite. I walk her outside to her Uber where it's raining. I hadn't put my shoes on or anything, just wearing socks and walking her out in the rain. She laughs super hard as she's getting into the Uber. I mean, what the hell else can you do? I texted her that I was sorry about her cheek, let her know to text me when she made it home safe, and told her that I still had a great time with her. Because in fact I did, but I just got way higher than expected and the date took the wildest turn in the world. I've never had anything like that happen to me. I wasn't expecting to ever hear from her again. She did text when she got home, said her face looked fine, not to worry about it, and that she had fun. She was probably being nice. I still doubt I'll see her again after that disaster. I'm hoping I do though, and we end up having the funniest first date story in the world. But the chances of that are slim to none. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.